Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be going through the Brisbane vs North Melbourne smashing, I guess, yet again, gather round. Brisbane seem to like gather round because they get to play North Melbourne at a small oval where they can just go straight down the centre, and North Melbourne seem to forget to defend and it turns into a smashing. I'm pretty sure the aggregate score across the two gather rounds for Brisbane versus North Melbourne is 260 to about 110 or so, I think. Brisbane seem to like it, and so does Joe Daniher, as I think he's kicked 10 goals in the gather round so far. So yeah, he seems to like playing North Melbourne on small ground. But before we get into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get to that 500 subscriber goal that I have by the buys. It's going really, really well. Hopefully we can even hit it a little bit sooner, but hopefully we can just get to that goal that I have set by the buys. So jumping into this video, you can see Joe Daniher with a 135. He was pretty good throughout the whole game here. You will just see here Joe Daniher, 135, 45, 22, 32, 36. He basically kicked the goal in every single quarter except for the second, where he decided not to kick a goal, but kicked two in the first. So I think he ended up with 4. Now looking at it quickly here, I think he ended up with 4. 4 goals. Was it 4 goals 2 or 4 goals 3 that he ended up with, or something? Just looking here, I think it was 4 goals 3 that he ended up with. Watch me have completely butchered that, and he ends up with something different, but it looks like that's what he ended up with. Quickly here, 5 goals 4. So yeah, I just completely messed that up. 1 goal here, 2 goals here, 3, 4, and then 5. Yeah, so 5 goals 4 for him. He really turned it on, and yeah, but he's a key forward. He's not going to do this regularly, and so I would rather not pick him in fantasy. Hugh McCluggage, I said this I put another tweet out that went that did pretty well. Hugh McCluggage as a number 1 option would be crazy, and I think he would go 110 as a number 1. So it'd be interesting to see if he re-signs with Brisbane, or whether he moves on to be to get his payday and get that number 1 option role. So we'll wait and see on that one. Dunkley 114. He literally cruised to a 114. He was on, what is that? 20 would be 91. He was on 69 at halftime, I believe. Sorry. Yeah, no, he was, this doesn't seem to add up. It doesn't look, no, sorry, I was looking at Zorko's numbers. So he was on 114 in the end, so he was on 72 at halftime. Yeah, that adds up. So 72 at halftime and then just cruised to a 114. Zorko, another one that, it seemed like he wasn't playing the right role, and then when he finally got into that role, he looked really good. Do I want to go for him? I don't know, because he's obviously not going to get the defender mid-forward status, because I don't think you can get triple position. So that goes against that. But I mean, if he's a forward and he's averaging 100 and being a top forward, then you kind of need him. So we'll wait and see on that one, whether you can delay on Flanders or something like that, or whether Zorko is the one that you grab for Luke Jackson or something like that, and you grab Flanders as well. So that is sort of something that I'm thinking of. Then we got McInerney here, 88. The only problem with Zorko is that he has like hammies and a tendency to get suspended in dumb ways. So there's that. McInerney, McCarthy, but I will definitely be doing some further research about Zorko, as that was one that I missed. I know that someone brought it up, and I sort of disregarded it to a certain extent, but I think that Zorko, with the way he plays, he can generally get 8 to 10 marks a game, and if he's getting the kick-outs or whatever, then I think he could generally put up a huge score. So we just have to be confident that he's playing off half-back. McCarthy, Berry, Bailey, Lohmann actually was really, really good, and he's now almost a potential trade in, just because he does so much work around the ground. If we go to Lohmann here, and we go Lohmann here, 78, 36 average, that break even is going to drop down. 14, 4, 4, and 2, 2 goals, 1. So yeah, he looked really, really good, and he was getting up around the ground, and he has Melbourne, Geelong, and GWS, and I think he's a genuine 50 scorer, 60 scorer when he actually just plays. I know that they had North Melbourne, sorry, but I think he is generally a 50 to 60 scorer, so I think there is cash gen available for him there. So he could potentially be someone to jump on, but we'll have to wait and see whether you can actually jump on him or not. Looking here, because you also have like Combin and stuff like that you can look at. Bailey, Lohman, Neil got subbed out, but he dominated the game. I know it doesn't show in the fantasy stats because he didn't get many non-disposals, but he was on like 120 in Supercoach or whatever. He was just so efficient. Hitwood, Wilmot, Archie, Starcevic, Ainsworth, Fletcher, Cameron, Rayner, Andrew. No one else here really matters. Then you got North, Harry Sheasel, 1-2-1. I was a little bit worried about the smaller ground and it not really helping Sheasel, but because of them having so many kickouts, it kind of helped him just rack up that score. And so he ended up with a 1-2-1 basically on the back of 2 good quarters. And yeah, I'm just so happy to have him. Given what's happened to Dacos across the first couple weeks, Harry Sheasel is probably going to be the D1. Just because Dacos has had a shocker and he's about... Well, Dacos is only about 80 points behind now, thinking about it, and he could catch that up with about two swoops with the 2 160 scores. So I'm not saying it's out of the question that Dacos beats Sheasel, but it's going to be very hard if Sheasel keeps putting up 120s, especially with Dacos needing going through another tag this week. Combin 107, and I think this could almost be a play, is just going someone like almost a Riley Bonner down to a Combin or something like that, and playing Combin as that F6 role, as that could be a play, and then upgrading the likes of a Sherry up, or upgrading maybe one of your rookies up or something like that, and getting onto Combin, as his cash gen is going to be crazy in the next couple of weeks. Sherry, Luke Davis-Uniacke, Powell, Fisher, Scott, Greenwoods. So yeah, Sherry, massive fade out, big fade out. He was lucky to honestly get to the 102 in the end. And if it wasn't for that goal that he kicked in the first of that, what I thought was probably actually a trip rather than holding the ball, he ends up with an 85, and it looks pretty bleak for him. So yeah, he got to a 102 in the end, so those owners are pretty happy. But if I think it's something like, if Grundy gets a 125 or something like that, then he beats him out for cash gen this week, as well as scores 20 plus points more. And we saw last week that he also scored plus 19 or something like on him. So you may have a plus 40 point advantage on those people that traded for Sherry a couple of weeks ago, as well as roughly around the same cash generation within 20k or so. So, and then those people that have Sherry are going to have to trade him again up to a Marshall or something like that. So you've effectively saved the trade for probably 40k or so. Then you got LDU and 90. I think he's one that's going to get just progressively lower and lower, and I think he is going to bottom out around that 800k, but I don't think he's really shown his ability to score big. So I think he's not going to be one in consideration this year, but we'll wait and see on that one. Tom Powell, a little bit lower this week with only an 89, but it was off the back of 15 tackles, and we're lucky to have that score in him, basically. So he's going to go up in cash. He's going to be a top 6 forward, basically, because 90, 95 seems to be the line with that. Fisher had one of the biggest saves you'll ever see. I thought he actually should have been credited a tackle in the second quarter as well for tackling a guy out of bounds, but that wasn't credited to him, and he ended up with an 83. So 85, 89, 90, that's around that top 8 anyway. So I wouldn't be trading out Fisher just yet. As he is still making a little bit of cash, and he's sort of just going to be around that top 10 range anyway. Just be careful with Fisher, Powell, and all of those North guys being on the same buy in round 12 with all of the Swans guys, that you could potentially get caught in the forward line, but you can obviously shift. You'll be able to shift around Powell, Fisher, and Heaney into different lines to, if you have all those guys, to accommodate the buy there. Scott, Greenwood, Tucker, McDonald, Dursba, I think he had a decent game. He got a goal in the end, a jammy sort of goal, and got to a 61, so he's doing all right for cash gen reasons, but not really putting up big scores. Core, Ford, Dawson, McKercher with a 50, and I was looking back on this, and something similar happened with the with North in round 6 last year with Shizel, and he put up a 47, I believe, from playing midfield. Yep, he's just not ready. Colby McKercher, he's not ready, and get him back on the half-back flank where he can just do his damage. He was doing perfectly fine off the half bank, so he'll have to probably regenerate a little bit of cash generation in the next week, as that break even's probably going to go to 30 or so. But I wouldn't be trading him out just yet, as I think a 50 is sort of his floor, and I think he can go 95, 100, even with Fisher and Shizel and Combin all down there. So it will be interesting to see how it goes next week. Wardlaw 49, Shields, Simpkins, Zerha, Larkey, Stevenson, Stevens, and Curtis. So that pretty much is the video there going through Brisbane versus North Melbourne, and I guess I will see you guys in the second recap of the day with the Port Adelaide versus who they play, Essendon game that happened on the Friday night, the later game. But I'll see you guys in that recap. Bye guys.